Hey Booktube. Okay, so I was tagged by Svetlana Pancheva. I hope I didn't butcher your last name there. She asked me to do the reread, rewrite, and burn tag. And I looked it up, and it looks pretty interesting. So what I ended up doing was I went to my my Goodreads account, and I selected all the books I've read, and I hit random, so it organized random. I went through one or two pages, and then I chose a page I thought might be interesting, and I took a picture of it. So let's check out the picture, and then I'll show you my my paper here. Okay, so I wrote down 18 books. I'm gonna do 6 rounds, and here, I don't know if you can read it. The light might be too bright. Yeah, so they're all there. I'm gonna cut this up. Cut it up real good. Don't want to cut any of the words out. Alright. To aid me, I got my Welcome to the Drive-In cup that I got from the Nocturnal's Reader's Box. I'm going to use this as my cup. We're going to cut these, trim them down to 3, and put them right in the cup there. They are all cut up. Alright, so just so we're familiar with the rules, basically what I do is I choose 3 little pieces of paper out of here, and then I decide which book I want to rewrite, reread, or burn. It's going to be tough. Round 1. I knew this was going to be tough. Alright, so the first book is Man in the High Castle by Philip Dick. Second book, Nightshift by Stephen King. And then Ghoul by Brian Keene. Oh my god. Okay, so the story I would like to reread would be Nightshift, because you can't touch that. That's a classic. Classic Stephen King. His old short stories, including his old novels, they're brutal. They're very cruel. So, rereading Nightshift. God, okay, I guess rewrite, I would go with Ghoul by Brian Keene. I really like this book. This is like one of the first books that Brian Keene brought to us that had that 80s nostalgia feel to it. But I would rewrite the antagonist of the story. He just wasn't scary. He didn't sound scary at all. But it's one of my favorite books, but so I would have to reread it. And the reason why I'm burning Man in the High Castle is because honestly, I mean, it was a good book, but it just didn't capture me like I thought it would. Round 2. God. All right, so the books are Gunslinger by Stephen King, Deep in the Darkness by Michael Laimo, and 2001 Space Odyssey by Arthur C. Clarke. Ugh. I don't know if I can do this one. Reread. I'm going to have to go with 2001 Space Odyssey on that. He's one of my favorite science fiction authors. He kicks ass. He's very interesting, too. It's almost timeless, some of his stuff. Alright, rewrite. I'm going to go with... You know what? I'm going to go with Deep in the Darkness. This is one of Michael Laimo's best novels. It's the most, I think, thought-out novel of his. I'm not saying something because I'm not really a big Michael Laimo fan. No offense, Michael, if you're watching. I doubt you are, though. And, of course, burn. You're going to be surprised by this. I might get some hate response to this, so I'm going to pick Gunslinger. The first book is actually really good. I really enjoyed the book, but the rest of the series just did not... I did not like it. Could not finish. Round 3. Or as the kids do it these days, 3. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, this one might be a bit easier. The books I chose were Flow My Tears, The Policeman Said by Philip K. Dick, The 158-Pound Marriage by John Irving, and Tommyknockers by Stephen King. Okay, I know which one I would reread right away from this, and that's Tommyknockers, one of my favorite Stephen King books. You know what? This book gets a lot of slack, and I don't know why, or a lot of hate. I don't know why. It shouldn't. It's a fantastic book. The television series, though, that came out, the miniseries back in the 90s, don't go there. Just don't, okay? Okay, Rewrite. I'm going to go with Flow My Tears by Philip K. Dick. It's a good book, but if I had to choose one of these 3 books to rewrite, it would be this one. Because, although John Irving was one of my favorite writers, 158-Pound Marriage is definitely one of his worst books, in my opinion. So, I'm going to burn it. Round 4. Oh, this is going to be another hard one. Oh, okay. Alright, so I picked We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson, Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer. It's like 2 of my favorite books. And Dead Souls by Michael Laimo. Well, I think it's easy to see which one I'd burn. So, I guess, maybe it will be easy then. I'd give Annihilation the reread. Honestly, I think this is a future classic, and the movie is awesome, even though it's not really all that much like the book at all. Okay, I'm gonna rewrite, not to like, I can take on a classic, but I'll rewrite We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson, because you can't burn this. It's one of my favorites by her. But if I had to choose between the 2 right now, I'll go with this to rewrite. And to be honest, I'd probably just maybe change 1 or 2 scenes, nothing serious. And I'm going to burn Dead Souls by Michael Laimo. Dead Souls is, we're the last one. Deep in the Darkness, easily one of his best. I believe this is his last book that he's... No, it wasn't. That was burning something or other. Anyways, this... Okay, so this isn't one of his worst books. But this is... it's certainly not a good book. Not really. Round 5. So, I picked Gridlinked by Neal Asher, Black Powder War by Naomi Novik, and The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. Okay, so with this I'm going to reread The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. It's a fantastic book in my opinion. I really love the idea of a kid, well, maybe not a kid in real life, but, you know, reading a book about a kid growing up raised by ghosts in a graveyard. It's fantastic. I loved it. I am going to rewrite Black Powder War by Naomi Novik. It's, you know, that series, the Temeraire series was really good, but I didn't finish it. I just ran out of steam reading it, and that's all I can really say about that. But, you know, it was a good book. I would choose Rewrite because maybe I would try to find what it was that made me lose steam in reading the series. And I would burn Gridlinked by Neal Asher. You know, I did not like that book at all. So this was like the easiest one so far. Alright, we're going on to the last one. That is round 6. Man, tough. Okay, so we got from first draft to finished novel by Karen Weisner. It's a little bit of a cheat because it's not actually a novel, it's a sort of text how-to, but Animal Farm, George Orwell, and The Exorcist by William Peter Blatty. Oh man. Okay, so I'm going to reread from first draft to finished novel because you can't, there's a lot of good stuff in here if you want to learn how to outline. And I am interested in outlining, and I need to reread this. It's very, very in-depth, like, wow, the areas that Karen takes you in to, figure out all your plot lines and your beats and all that crap. Very much worth the reread. I'm going to rewrite The Exorcist. There's actually, I enjoyed the book. The movie is so much more powerful than the book. You could almost say that the movie's better than the book. There are some things in the book that just didn't seem all that creepy to me. I think there's some really fantastic dialogue in this book, though, especially between the investigator and the actress. I can't remember their names. When he's looking into the murders that happen around, their place. And but there's some other things that maybe I could rewrite, and I'm gonna burn Animal Farm because, like I said, it did not resonate with me. I get the point. I honestly, I agree with the point. Even it's just, it was hard for me to read it when I was younger, and I read it, as I said, in high school, and I just didn't like it then. Should reread it now, maybe, because I might feel differently. Well, that was a lot of fun, wasn't it? Thanks everyone for watching, and I'm going to tag a few people here. I'm going to tag Lisa West Coast Reads, Book Idiot, Paul Reads, and That Tash Reads. So you guys can do it if you want. You don't have to. And if you're watching this and you're like, hey, that's a great tag idea, and I didn't mention you, go right ahead and do it anyway. It's a lot of fun. I guarantee it. See you next time, and keep being creative.